And welcome back to Ohio Means Business. Part of Ohio's leadership in the aerospace industry comes from its network of suppliers. Companies like Airbus and Boeing have already taken notice. So how does the state improve on that strength? Well, joining us now to go inside the research is Keely Croxton, Associate Professor of Logistics at Ohio State's Fisher College of Business. Ms. Croxton, thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it. Tell me how you define supply chain management. That's your expertise in life, so how do you simply define it?
Yeah, well, at Fisher we make a distinction between logistics and supply chain management. So logistics is kind of transportation, warehousing, how you move product around the country and around the world. Supply chain management we look at as really how you manage the relationships in the supply chain. So relationships with your customers, relationships with your suppliers. And that's increasingly becoming important across all industries to really think about how you gain competitive advantage by partnering with the other members of your supply chain.
The study of this has really become a science. Even you apply mathematical models to it, don't you?
Indeed. There are kind of mathematical aspects of it, and there's very general managerial aspects to it, and we kind of view this as a kind of cross-functional endeavor that really involves everybody in the business. Supply
chain management applies to a lot of different businesses, but specifically the aerospace industry. It can apply a little bit different. Talk about it related to the aerospace industry.
I think if you look at companies like Airbus and Boeing and what they're looking for in their supply base, I think it's changed over the years. I think if you look at what's happened over the last 5 or 10 years, they're really looking to their suppliers for both process and product innovation, and I think that's changed a lot. And there's been some lessons learned from that. I was just looking at an interview with the CEO of Boeing just from this week, and he was commenting that they've had some delays in the launch of new products over the last 5 years, several year delays. And his comment was that it was because the supply chain had gotten too long and they had relied on their suppliers too much. And so I think they're learning kind of where that boundary is. And I think for suppliers to be competitive and to attract business from the manufacturers like Boeing and Airbus, they need to figure out how to be indispensable to those manufacturers and develop the relationships and get the product and process innovations that they need so they're indispensable. I mean, that really should be the supplier's goal.
Everybody knows Ohio has been and will hopefully continue to be a big part of the supply chain in auto manufacturing. Maybe they don't realize we are as well in aviation. We're supplying to Boeing and Airbus, right?
Yeah, in very large quantities. Like number 1 and number 2 states supplying those two companies. And if you think about Boeing, you've got manufacturing in Seattle and California, but you also have manufacturing in St. Louis and Kansas City and Pennsylvania and South Carolina. So Ohio, makes some sense geographically. But I think you look at Airbus and they're manufacturing in Europe. So you think, well, why Ohio? Why would they be buying their supplies out of Ohio? And I think the reason is because of the rich history and investment that Ohio's made in the aviation industry. The intellectual capital that lies within the state is immense. And I think that's what these companies are looking to these suppliers for, is that intellectual capital that allows for the innovation that they need to change the industry. I mean, they're looking to make their planes faster, lighter, more fuel efficient, and that kind of trumps pure logistics costs. It's not about transportation of parts from here to Europe. It's about looking to these companies for the innovation.
Final thought, it's interesting, you mentioned the CEO of, I believe, Boeing said that the supply chain just got too long. Is that part of what you do, is helping people manage the relationships and partnerships, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think when the supply chains get long, either that could be from a management perspective, you're not managing the relationships, and so there's a kind of a distance, or it can be geographical distance. You lose that intimacy. We try to help companies understand the trade-off between that and the costs, obviously, of managing relationships. What are the benefits that they can gain from that, and how to leverage those benefits? If you're going to have a relationship, how do you make that relationship work and be as productive as possible?
It truly is a science. Supply chain management. Keely Croxton, Fisher College of Business. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.